Welcome to part 2 of my slip-on install. Got my new mufflers this evening. I must be the last person on the route because they showed up about 10 minutes ago. It's about 8:45 at night on Monday. So I got two exhausts. They're the DS70 oval exhaust. Came with baffles pre-fitted. Those are coming out. They're held in with just that one Allen bolt right there, and then they get tapped out. They're kind of like a press fit, so I'll show those later. Came with all the brackets. This is the right hand pipe. It has this hole, and then it uses this speed nut to fix the stock lower fairing on it. The brackets, so it's not tilted up so high like stock, especially if you're going to use bags, which I probably eventually going to do. New bolts, nylock nuts, washers. They're stainless aluminum spacers, stainless steel link pipes, the rubber straps, the stainless steel straps that go around the mufflers. They have a white protective film on them that I'll have to peel off. Instructions to remove the baffle, a couple stickers, and generic instructions, basically saying take it off, put it back on. Also comes with silicone exhaust sealant, which assumes a paste. So I'll put that around the edges when I go to slip everything together. So I'll start. First thing it says, you got to put these on the inside of the strap, so I'll work on those. Alright, got those on. Fairly easy to do. I had read some guy who said he had a major fit getting those things on. It took me about 2 minutes. Okay, so now I'm going to take the DB killer out. That's held in with just one bolt. Takes a 3mm Allen. That's all there is to it. I think it's mainly just a press fit to kind of hold it in place. And then to get it out, it says you have to do it from the other end. So what I'm going to do is use the end of my rubber mallet. And there is enough room in there, so what I'm going to do is from here, it just slides right out. And that's all the baffle is. Looks like something that comes out of a barbecue. My phone battery is getting ready to die, so hopefully I'm still recording and not talking to nothing. Yep, alright. So there's one. This is the film that comes off the straps, like real thin tape. There's another screw attached to the top of the styrofoam box, and I'm not quite sure what it's for. It looks like, or at least it's the same size as this, which holds the DB killer in. I haven't taken one off, but it says it's a 6mm baffle screw. But I'm not sure what it's supposed to be baffling. It's utterly baffling. Oh, and the screw does go into the DB killer to secure it. The reason I'm taking these out is because in part 1, when I fired it up, it was still kind of quiet because of the catalytic converter that's in the cat box. So we'll try them out. Now, when I unpack these, I think it's this one. The quality is pretty nice. Alright, it's 5 o'clock the next morning. My phone died last night, right when I was talking about this. What I was saying was, talking about the quality of the carbon, but on one of the pipes, I'm not sure how well this is going to show up. I mean, you can kind of see it there. The end pipe isn't straight. It's it's kind of angled in. It's only one like that. I'm not too worried about it. We'll make it so that this one is on the right side, so this is kind of pointed in. I don't think it's off enough to look bad when the bike's fully, or when the cans are fully mounted. I don't think anyone will really notice. So we'll go with that. I'm going to do a dry fit on this before I put this stuff on, just so I don't smear it all over the place. So we'll work on a reset and start putting it together. So sitting there staring at the bike, I figured out why these two screws are included, and they were in the cover, baffle screw part number, and it's a 6mm. Oh, I guess it does pay to kind of read the directions, because the original baffle screw that goes into the baffle when it's installed is a 5mm screw, and obviously the 6 doesn't fit here. But what happens is, when you take the 5mm bolt out, it's so that it can just slide in easily into the hole, but the 6mm is the one that threads in. And after I was doing the dry fit, I was looking at it and going, well, that's going to leak, and then I'm like, oh, well, that's what those screws are for. So there's the mystery of the baffle screw that's mounted to the styrofoam box the can came in. It goes into here to stop a leak. Okay, I got them dry fitted. A couple things before I go any further. The clamps that come with it have a nut on the end, but this barrel is also threaded, so I had to loosen this to get the mid pipe in, and when I just put a hex wrench on here, it was really tight, so this was actually locked on, so you have to unlock or remove, loosen it at least, in order to unscrew the hex bolt. And then down here, this is the stock clamp. This is the one with the slot, and it had the tang, because you have to put this bracket on that has the speed nut on it, and the speed nut just slides on, pulls off and slides on. But also this had the tang in there that went into this slot on the stock clamp. That tang has to be flattened in order to get this clamp on, so I just used my one of two pairs of vice grips and flattened that tang out without deforming the ridge on the edge of the flange. So that's in place. It's mocked up and looks pretty good. Got it pretty straight on the back. So as long as you get everything lined up, the Delkevic laser etched emblems are mostly level, and this is kind of how the assembly goes together. Stock bolt and nut with this bracket on it, and then what I ended up doing is the bolt washer. I did have to make the clamps kind of P-shaped or B-shaped in order to get clearance between the can and the swing arm, and then the spacer, the bracket, the other washer, and then the lock nut. Did that on both sides. So at this point, what I'm going to do, I loosened these up and moved them out of the way a little bit. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a Sharpie and I'm going to mark where everything goes together, because I have to take it back apart in order to get the sealant in there. And since this is stainless, I should be able to wipe the stuff back up. That mark will be covered by the clamp. So do it on that side. Don't really have to do anything with these because they'll just line up once I put it all back together. So on this one, move that out of the way. And what I'm doing is I'm just going to kind of mark in the slot. And I think they're all the way in. So I'll just go like that to put an edge mark on. Down here at the bottom, find a slot. Use this one, I guess. Oops. Oh, I screwed that up, didn't I? Just to kind of mark it where it all goes together. Also, on one of the mufflers, whichever one goes on the right side, you'll have to turn this clamp around. So that's the other reason why I had to remove it, because otherwise the bolt, it was on the inside. So I just slipped it off, turned around, slipped it back on. Loctite is very important to put on. This is that bolt that I took out that held the stock baffle or the DB killer in. So when you replace it with a 6mm bolt, put a little Loctite on it. That's it for now. So what I'm going to do, take it all back apart, smear some silicone stuff on it. This is the Loctite. Use blue, not red, unless you never want to take it out again, or at least you'll have all kinds of issues getting it out again. And I'll be back. And there it is, all done. Took it apart, smeared some that silicone exhaust paste actually on the pipe, and then slipped it together. It makes a bit of a mess, so there was no way I was going to record it. Got it on both ends. One thing I'm afraid of, though, I don't know if it can be seen, it looks like a hole right there where the pipe slips in, so I'm not sure this is going to seal, but I'm going to let it dry and see what happens. Wiped them all off, got all my fingerprints off of them. Got them all tightened down. Basically the instructions say after you put the paste on, put it back together, start at the front and move your way back. The only thing I did was tighten this up first. And again, you can kind of tell that I had to make them into kind of a P or B shape. When you replace the stock clamp with the stainless one that comes with the kit, it's best to put this on, the rear lower fairing on, before you tighten anything up, like anything up, because I was way off where I thought the hole would be for this thing. So, and the fit's not the greatest, but maybe I can hack that up or not worry about it. But just make sure, the hard part after I tightened the clamp was getting the nut on the back side of it to lock it. Lined everything up. Got another greasy fingerprint on it. Wiped it all down. Let it dry and see how it sounds. Plus it's like 6:45 in the morning here, so I'm not going to fire it up at the moment. Not bad. Okay, I couldn't wait, so it's been about an hour and a half. Let it dry a little bit. There are a couple leaks. Actually, I don't think there are any on this side. But over here, not only is that leaking a little bit, but there's something under there that's leaking too. So it kind of makes a little sound. Can't really tell. I'm sure you can't tell over the camera microphone, but I can barely hear it. But let's see what it does.